speaking of Ironheart, what are your thoughts on the series? What did you think? What do you think about the aftermath of it? We've got to talk about that.
Okay, so it's interesting, right? Because I'm suffering from right now. I'm being impacted mentally and emotionally by what I'm gonna coin this term um for nerddom: race loyalty, right? And I feel like there's some things that I want to say about the show that I just shouldn't say because it takes away from my overall opinion, which is that the show is great.
You think
Right? My
you think
over
you have things to say that will take away from the fact that it was great?
I think that in certain circles, right, people might take. So this is the thing, and it's very interesting for me. It's really difficult right now, and it's something that I've talked to some other people about, and it's hard for me to navigate because I think the show is really great. The problem is I recognize that there is a absolute agenda to debase how good the show is. And many of the people carrying the torch for that didn't even watch the show and have said as much. So I feel like an honest critique can be used against me in a court of law, so to speak, right? Like if I give an honest critique, if I say some of the things that I want to say, I feel like it's going to co-sign hate. I think there's an active agenda, an anti so-called woke agenda. Listen, we're in the same BLERD communities. I've actually seen people say, I'm not watching the show. It's garbage, or I couldn't get through the first episode, so I'm not even going to finish because I never asked for this character, so I'm not going to watch it. And then go on to describe and make a case for why the show is garbage, but you didn't consume it. You didn't. And so I feel like, okay, I have some real critiques, right? Like my first critique would be Riri to me is the most unlikable character in a brilliant show. Like a brilliant show. The show is great. I don't like the MCU's Riri, and what I mean is I don't not like the character as in, oh, this character sucks. I mean, you've given me a person whose personality as a character, as a human being in the show, I wouldn't care for you if I knew you.
Right.
I wouldn't fuck with you. You understand what I'm saying? Like if I knew you, I'm not fucking with you.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? That's what I mean. Not like, oh, this person just sucks. You know what I mean? No.
Do you feel like it's because it's inauthentic, or is it because like it's counter to your perspective or your...
No. It's just because I don't like you in the way that I didn't like Littlefinger in Game of Thrones because you're just not a likable person.
Okay.
Right? So you're not supposed. I'm not supposed to like you.
Yeah.
Right. And this is one of the things that we have. It's a curse of nerddom, right? Like in nerddom, and in many cases, we get products where the character that is supposed to be the most unlikable turns out to be the most popular. Obviously, that won't be the case for Riri, but Darth Vader is an example. There's tons of examples of characters that are you're the bad guy. We're not supposed to like you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then we find ourselves liking you, or you making you the most popular. In this case, not so with Riri, right? Like we're supposed to like you, right? Like we're actually, at least I feel like I'm supposed to. And everyone's like, "Oh, there's going to be a redemption arc or what have you," and it's like, "Yo, I'm supposed to like Riri."
I mean,
I like Riri.
Just counter to jump in right quick. I hated Riri before in Black Panther 2 in Wakanda Forever. I absolutely abhorred her. Like it was like, I hated. I thought it was the actress's fault. And then watching Ironheart, it began that way, and then I started to empathize with the character and the struggle immediately in the first episode when they nailed it. She said, "I'm not grieving." I immediately empathized with her 100%. I was like, I get it all. This chick is going through grief, right? And it made me understand and be more lenient to, I guess, everything that was going on with her. Because I know what it's like to go through that level of grief. and to lose someone that close to you, and to kind of lose your way and not know how to respond. Sure, are there people who lose people every day and they don't go through that? Sure, of course they do. They just do their same thing. I didn't, right? I'm not saying I went and robbed banks. You know what I'm saying? But it took a while for me to find who I was again, and that level of disassociation with who I liked in myself before, and then not being that person after the loss. I 100% agree with that. 100%. And as it went on further, I started to like her, like actually like her. And then by the end of it, I was like, I'm a fan of Riri Williams. I need this book. You know what I mean? Now, how the show ended and, you know, what happened at the end, very interesting take. Definitely calls into question the character of the character, or the flaws of the character. And I think we're not used to seeing that. We're not used to having to live with a character's flaws like that. I guess it's not true though, because the flaws of like Tony Stark, those were flaws that stuck with him, right? The flaws of Wanda, those are flaws that stuck with her. So I guess I can't really say that. I think it was just so blatant at that point. Did you know she kept the cape? Did you know that?
Which she are we speaking of?
Riri.
Kept what cape?
Okay, the hood. She kept the hood.
Oh yeah.
And that the hood was actually affixed to the Ironheart armor in one of the last scenes. Like she's like actively keeping it. Like what?
So here's the thing, right? Because there's a difference, and one of the things that you pointed out, which is interesting, right? You pointed out an aspect of character, right? Which was certainly driven by experiences, right? And that aspect is grief, right? And how she chooses to grieve, and you know, or not even necessarily chooses to grieve, but how her grief manifests in her life, right? Yeah. And this is an aspect of character. But what I'm speaking about though is her overall character, right? Like her overall character as portrayed in this show, and this is okay. It's what they wrote. So I'm not saying that Riri sucks as a character like you thought prior to, you know what I mean, this show. I'm saying
I thought that the portrayal sucked.
I don't think so. I'm gonna speak on that.
It was never an attack on Riri because I don't know Riri from the comics that well.
So first of all, Dominique Thorne is as wooden of an actor as Keanu Reeves or Kristen Stewart is. Both of them have had very successful film careers. Both of them have movies that I enjoy, right? Both of them have movies that I enjoy. Dominique Thorne is, to me, she's so fucking wooden, but it's okay because I enjoy you when I see you on screen. You know what I mean? You don't emote. It's the same emote. I don't know if you're happy or sad. It's the same emote. You know, I get the same. It's your range from emoting is very limited. You know what I mean? And it's okay because this is a critique, but it doesn't take away from my enjoyment of you in the role. You are Riri Williams. It just so happens that the way the character is written, Riri Williams, not Dominique Thorne, Riri Williams is unlikable to me as fuck. And I'm not talking about an aspect of character based upon your ability to grieve, because you were able to go away to school. You were able to work on your armor all during this time period, right? Your grief became more relevant when you came back home, and we understood that there was something traumatic that happened in your life twice over in a singular moment, right? Twice over, you had something, you know, terrible happen to you. But what you chose to do to meet your own needs, which to me isn't a product of grief, right? To get this suit built, what you chose to do, blackmail, strong arm, steal, be complicit in a murder, work with villains, not save a single, nobody got saved by Riri Williams, right? Like not one person in the show can say, yo, Riri saved me.
The hood was saved by her.
Okay. That's what we do.
I mean,
He was
I mean, her
replaced
whole
by her. No, he was usurped. He was like, yo, what we doing? Like, yo.
I mean, technically, her intent was to save him from the hood.
I mean, okay. And then she sold her soul. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
that's wild, bro. That was wild. I didn't see that coming at all.
Yo, what she put Zeke Stain through? Like, that dude was minding his own business, living his life, like his own little hobby. You know what I mean? Yo, she showed up and was like, yo, this is what you gonna do. And I'm gonna make sure you stay out of it. And she didn't. She didn't make sure he stayed out of it. Like, yo, he ended up getting blackmailed by like all of the things that she did. It's like, yo, I don't like you. Like, I wouldn't fuck with you if we was in the hood. I'm not helping you. Listen, the right person, I'm not no snitch, so it wouldn't be me. But the right person might need to make some phone calls because you're not the one. Based upon everything I know about you, I don't want you flying around in the super suit. Like, I don't want you to have that ability. Like, yo, no, for real. Like, you not. I'm not voting for you to do that. Bro, but I thought the show was really great.
I think there's a reason why this is happening, and I think it's going to play into Doomsday.
I mean, all of it's leading towards Doomsday.
Obviously, but I'm saying this is going to be a very significant aspect of the Doom. Either that, or they're setting up Riri to be the big bad in Strange Academy.
The big bad in Strange Academy. First of all, Strange Academy is canceled.
Is it?
You know, yeah, it was canceled before. Remember, this show is like 3 years ago.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It was made. You know what I mean?
Okay, so I mean, maybe that was the intent to have it lead into that. Right.
Well, you need Mephisto obviously for Doomsday.
Yeah.
And obviously it helps that we're gonna rush Mephisto out, not rush him out, but put him out. You know, there's some fandom there. Like we're actually paying attention to fans, and you know, we lost Kang. I think we're gonna see Kang again, but you know. We lost Kang, so it's like, okay, we got to get Mephisto in there. We got to do something, right? Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom is getting so many mixed reactions, which shout out to the anti-woke people for at the very least being true to the game when it comes to their critique of Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom. This is the one case where I can say, all right, at least you showed up to heckle and talk shit about this casting as much as you talk shit about any other casting that may make sense, but you just don't like because you know you think everything is woke. I just want to be clear. Every time a woman or a black person or someone from the LGBT community or minority is cast in a role doesn't mean that it is woke. I just want to be clear on that.
And it also doesn't mean it's DEI.
It also exactly, which for me it was.
However,
you know, but yes.
However, I will go on a tangent and say, having previously worked for the Walt Disney Company through ESPN, I will tell you there is an absolute agenda of expanding the audience in the Walt Disney Company. It's all about expanding the audience and making sure everyone can feel the magic, right? And that level of inclusivity, it's down to the macro level where if they have what are called, ESPN specifically has what are they called, blurgs, and I forgot what it stands for, but it's bergs, but basically it's like a private organization within the company that is built up of different demographics, and they get to speak on and inform to ensure that representation is done accurately and professionally, and you know, address instances where it's not within the company in media from ESPN. And I can only imagine that if that existed in ESPN and that emphasis on ensuring people got it right or whatever is in ESPN, that it and with the Walt Disney Company having a priority in expanding their audience, that it would be the same thing for Marvel, right? And Marvel has always been big on diversity and always been big on representation any damn way, but specifically more so, Disney is absolutely 100%. It's literally in their priorities. Remember,
but it should be in their priorities. It should be.
Yeah, but it's not. It's like a company priority. Like like you have core values in the Air Force, or I don't know what y'all got in the Army, what y'all call it. Like the three things that we have, like in like the pillars, like expanding the audience, which makes sense from a business standpoint, right? But the way they take it is like it's not just about making sure everybody gets to see it and becomes a part of the audience. But it's like, everyone should feel as if they have the opportunity to go through the same level. I mean, that's why there were so many, there was an agenda, is what I'm saying, in Ironheart. There was an agenda.
And there should be.
Yeah.
There should be. Again. So, and this could go left, right, up, down, topsy-turvy, round and round. It could go all the ways, right? So from a perspective, it's easy for you and I to come to these conclusions and to say these things as Black people who are thinking critically and are educated and looking at ideals, right? Looking at the idealism and ideal aspects of the situation.
Yeah.
But then there's the realism, right? And we can do that because we're smart. Right, we're not stupid. We critically think, and we can say, "Hey," sure. and in our space. But from a realistic perspective, right? Let's go all the way back to affirmative action. It was necessary. It actually was necessary, because there wasn't an even playing field.
For sure.
These agendas are actually necessary, whether people like them or not. And this is what it comes down to. Because let's be ideal. Let's be real. Realistically, and I'm always screaming this. Because fuck you. And I'm not talking about you. I mean, fuck you, whomever you may be. I'm always screaming this. If you're not the target audience, I grew up half of my life not being a target audience. Half of my life, I wasn't the target audience.
I would go on to say that it was probably closer to 3/4 of our lives. You know what I mean? Like, we were not the target audience.
So if you're critical of these little agendas, these micro agendas that seem major to you, like, and I'm serious about this. I have to say this because I feel like there's a whole bunch of people that's in their feelings and it bothers me. And there's forums that I can't say it in. I have my own forum. I have my own platform. I'm on it right now. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I can actually say this. If you're critical of these little micro agendas that are that are creating a target audience that is not you, but you have lived on the side of history where you have been the target audience for like 90% of history, and you're critical of the 10 minutes, like these little micro agendas make you feel oppressed. They make you feel left out. They make you like, it's like 10 minutes of you have to endure seeing something. I come from a generation where 10 years removed from when I was born, y'all was screaming the same shit. I don't want to see. I just read an article today about Franklin, and today being the birthday of Franklin from Charlie Brown, and how impactful it was when Charles Schultz created Franklin, the Black kid, and Charlie Brown in the 60s after the death of Martin Luther King. He was asked by a school teacher if he could include a Black character, and how much pushback he got from the publishers for doing so, and he did it anyway. And the publishers, there was an actual newspaper published that they didn't mind seeing the Black kid, but did you have to do an illustration of a Black kid in school with white kids? Right? This was in the 60s. Listen, we're not be shocked. This is normal. Yeah. Right? This is in the 60s, right?
Yeah.
So in the 21st century, the narrative is, well, do we have to have a show where the writer and the producer is Black and the main character is Black and the supporting actors are Black and the villain is brown and but the best part of the show was when the white guy shows up to portray the devil? Like, this is what happened. This is Riri. This is the aftermath, right? We go into the aftermath.
Yeah.
The aftermath is, I didn't watch it. I sat through 5 episodes of garbage you sat through 5 episodes of garbage to get to the white guy. Let's filter out all the BS and call it what it is, right? You sat through all the episodes, every episode of the garbage to get to the white guy.
God. Okay. So I think what's being said in those statements,
I'm saying it.
No. But what I'm saying is that certain people just don't value things they don't value, right? And I mean, like, if I'm not, obviously I'm not Muslim American, right? But I can find the value in a Miss Marvel series that is highlighting culture and life in that community. I can find that value. When I watched Shang-Chi, I very much so appreciated and found value from that. The people who are vocally saying this absolutely do not have a ability to find value in experiences outside of the experiences they know, right?
I'm gonna stop you there.
Okay.
Really quick. I'm gonna say they don't find value in inherently black and brown experiences. Things that they can associate, in my opinion, and that they can tie to black, brown, women, or LGBTQ. Shang-Chi is an exception, right? Because you can look at that movie and you can have no problem. Nobody has a problem with how culturally focused Shang-Chi is.
This is true.
Because it's so far removed from the types of races that have impacted American history. It's really far removed. But when you say Muslim, right? When you say black, here comes the critics. Well, no one criticized why Shang-Chi needed to have an all Asian cast. Like nobody criticized it.
Yeah,
there was right. There was no criticism.
Right.
Like seriously, right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you say Muslim, and I'm sorry to make it so to just be so cut and dry with it. I'm not sorry. When you say Muslim or when you say black, here comes the criticism, and it's always dressed in this black people. You know, somebody said recently, right? Why is it when black people achieve any level of success, they have to feign ignorance to their own experience, or they find themselves ostracized? They have to feign ignorance to the politics of their own experiences when they reach certain levels of success to continue to have that success without being canceled in the worlds that they want to navigate, and especially when it comes to entertainment and being able to open your voice and speak, right? They have to very much toe the politically correct line, even though you are aware of an experience as it pertains to your culture. You are actually aware of it and know that certain things go on. There's certain things that like Stephen A. Smith just can't get on ESPN and be like, yeah, these people are just straight racist. They can't say what I'm saying right now. He could not say, well, y'all hated everything about Riri except the white guy. But you hated everything about Riri except the white guy. You did. You could call it, you could put it in any box that you want to put it in. That's what it, if I get rid of all of the fodder and I cut through the wheat, separate the wheat from the chaff, that's what I get from you. I hated everything about Riri, but oh yeah, Mephisto showing up was cool. But I could take it one step further. Well, I never asked for Riri, which is why I'm not going to watch Riri. You never asked for Mephisto. When Disney dropped Iron Man 1 and Disney dropped Captain America, you wasn't sitting like, I can't wait for Mephisto.
I think
hold on. Let me just say this and then you can go. You know what put Mephisto in y'all hearts and minds? They dropped the whitest show in the history of the MCU called WandaVision. Yo, am I wrong? Am I wrong? There is no whiter Disney show. There is no whiter Disney show than WandaVision. Like, I love WandaVision. I think it's really dope. What I'm saying is, it is the definition of caucasity. Like, it is the definition of mayonnaise sandwich. And they dropped Seeds of Mephisto in that show, and y'all been screaming Mephisto ever since. That's where we first heard Mephisto.
Did they even mention Mephisto in?
No, they put Blackheart on like a piece of paper in her kitchen or some shit.
No,
like Blackheart Tupperware or you know what I mean, something like porcelain or something like that, and people, oh, that's the son of Mephisto. Mephisto's coming. He's behind all, which matters because she created her kids. She altered reality, but she actually took pieces of Mephisto, a non-corporeal Mephisto, without knowing. She didn't know, but that's the substance that she used to create her kids.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's kind of what you're saying, but not entirely, right? Because I think it's deeper than that. And I think the depth is that people don't want to see that, right? They don't want, it's not that they don't want to see a black woman in a prominent role. They don't want to see an authentic black experience in their media. That's not something that they find appreciation in. Whether it's because
Black Panther's a little too tribal.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? The authenticity of Ironheart being in the Chicago experience. Listen, I was raised in Chicago. I was there from age of 3 till 18 when I joined the military. Like, I have largely said that I will never go back to Chicago. Like, unless I'm visiting my sisters, but I'll never go back. That place made me miss Chicago. I mean, not that place. That show made me miss Chicago. I was like homesick. Like, oh wow, this is like so Chicago. The soundtrack was so Chicago. Like the characters that were in it. I think they were so Chicago, maybe removed from my generation. But I feel like, yo, this is so Chicago. You know what I mean? And it ain't the worst side of Chicago that you've ever seen. Like, Chicago is. It can get way worse and way nicer. You know what I'm saying? Because Home Alone was done in Chicago, right? That's North Side Chicago. That's some North Chicago shit. You know what I mean? That's how they get down, right? Accurate, true. You know what I'm saying? Suburb, whatever. You know, Ironheart was South Side Chicago for sure. For sure. And it wasn't necessarily I don't know, man. It was just everything about it just came off very authentic. They really put a lot of effort ensuring that this was to me the most grounded MCU show ever. Like, it was literally
I agree.
The most grounded, because
it was a dope show too, by the way.
It was a great show. To me, like, bro, this is up there. I love WandaVision for the artistic piece that it is, right? Like, WandaVision for me was just, it tickled my funny bone the whole way from a film, television, standpoint, and just the whole rollout and how they did it. Ironheart stands on its own just from standing on its own because it was so authentic. I'm not saying that the heist with robot armor is authentic. I'm talking about the setting and the environment in which they were in. That is so Chicago. I can attest to that, like, wholeheartedly. Now,
there were some glaring plot holes.
Yeah, listen.
Riri's mother is who's really dope.
I'm never gonna debate no shit like that. Like, the writer should have wrote it this way. Or
no, I don't think they should have wrote it that way. I just felt there's one character that they were supposed to listen. We're talking authentic, right?
Yeah.
What Chicago black mother is going to find out that her best friend is a wizard that just teleported her from the top floor of her shop to the basement of her shop, and just take that like it's like just take that with it, like, okay. All right, Riri, we got to figure this out. Like, yo, I'm like, wait a minute, hold
that is not a plot hole. That's
okay. That's a plot hole.
It's just, perhaps it's an inconsistency.
It's very, listen, bruh, if I'm chilling with you one day and you just snap your fingers and we in the basement, yo, we got some ironing out. We got some come to Jesus. We got to have some come to Jesus moments. It ain't gonna be, listen, when I get home, I'm still calling you like, yo, bro. So explain this to me again. Like, wait a minute. For real, which tribe did your people come from in the motherland?